Why do you look scared? Don't be scared. It'll all be over soon.
So as promised, I said I was going to talk about Creep and Preservation this week in addition to Goodnight Mommy, which was my last review. If you missed that, I will link it down below. But today we're going to be talking about Creep, which is one of the most requested films that I've gotten the past few weeks. And I saw this actually probably 2 weeks ago, so if some things are a little fuzzy in my head, that would be why. Now, Creep came out in 2014. It is on Netflix. I had never heard of it. I had only seen the cover of it on Netflix, which I really enjoy the cover. I think it is very accurate to the vibes and the atmosphere of the movie. Now this stars Patrick Brice, who is also the writer and director of this film, so it's kind of like an indie film, very not popular, not known, but tons of you requested it, so I guess it's known, maybe it's just me. So the basic plot for this is a videographer responds to a Craigslist ad for a one-day filming thing, and they would give a flat rate, I forget how much money he was going to be making, like $1,000 or something like that, and he gets paid right on the spot. He meets the guy after some weirdness. It was weird. I don't know. So it's set in the mountains in this like remote town. It's kind of low population, you get the vibes of, because the houses seem to be very spread apart, and it's full of trees. It's absolutely beautiful, and right off the bat the guy starts sharing his life story. His name is Joseph. He's sharing his life story and he's starting to get to know Aaron, who is the videographer, and pretty much right away things start to get weird. So Joseph had come back in from a run and he's like, I gotta hop in the shower, or the tub rather, do you want to come up with me? And so the videographer goes up with him, and then he's like, no, do you want to like come in with me? Like, so he goes into the bathroom, and the next shot is him filming the guy in the bathtub. So it's what I love about this is that they're weird, quirky behaviors that are strange, but they're not necessarily super off-putting right away. They're not very like in your face, like something is obviously wrong. It's just kind of odd behavior, like an eccentric person would be, and I love that. I think it's very realistic, and you just know that this guy's a little quirky, a little strange, but then things get weirder and weirder and weirder, and it actually is very subtle and gradual to the point where each one is like, okay, that's weird, but the house is haunted. This is very, very well cast. I love the cast of this one. It stars Mark Duplass as well, who was in The Lazarus Effect, and he played the greatest creepy guy. I loved him in this. So there's a little bit of a few criticisms I can have that IMDb also has. Some of them include spoilers, so from here on out I'm kind of going to just be talking about the plot and like towards the end and what I liked about it, so it will spoil it. If you're worried about spoilers, then don't watch. So what I didn't like is where the story went about halfway through. I thought that because the guy was acting really creepy and stuff, that Aaron would actually end up dying at the cabin or whatever. Originally my thought process was that he wants him to record him doing things that are really weird or illegal, like killing someone or something like that. But it was completely not what I expected. So eventually it goes to where Aaron gets away. I mean, he wasn't really held hostage by any means, but he is able to go home, and then he starts receiving some strange packages from Joseph, including videotapes, one of which it looks like he's burying a body, and it just gets stranger and stranger. Soon enough, he calls the police and reports it, but they can't help him because they don't have any evidence of where this guy lives, because Joseph has some mental illness apparently, and he does this a lot to people. And the house that they were at was actually a stranger's house, and he was just using it and occupying it, pretending like it was his own, and he was also pretending to have cancer and pretending that his wife was pregnant and stuff like that. And so he was making this tape for his soon-to-be son because he would not make it to see his son being born. So at the end, we see Aaron finally say, okay, let's talk in public. We'll go to this like lake thing, whatever, and we'll meet and we can finally just hash this out and figure out, like, can you just leave me alone kind of thing. So he goes to the park and he sets up a camera in his car to record any kind of interaction between him and Joseph. And then you see him waiting. Then you see Joseph come in, and then you see him pull out an axe out of his jacket, and he strikes Aaron in the head with it, and Aaron dies. Now, I had a few like nitpicky things with this. I did react to it at first because it looked real, like with him striking him in the head. You could hear the sound, and it just was like horrifying. But you don't see any blood at all, and there would have been some blood spray, and then when he falls over we would have seen blood piling on the floor or on the bench or something. You see no blood, so that's a little unrealistic, but the sound and the visuals of it looked very real. Another nitpicky thing is he uses his real name Joseph with Aaron, but then in the final moments we see him with the new victim and he calls himself Bill. So is he always using fake names? Because we know that Joseph is his real name because his sister, who talks to Aaron earlier in the film, calls him Joseph. So did he just use his real name and then go on to using fake names? I don't know. Overall though, this is a definite Netflix gem. It was way better than I thought it was going to be, and it was nothing what I expected. So I was pleasantly surprised. However, I didn't necessarily like that he got away and like went home. I wanted it to kind of all take place in that foresty, like remote town kind of thing. Let me know what you thought about this movie, if you've seen it, and any more movie requests that you have. And we'll be starting the new segment next week, so when I post on the day you'll figure out what we're doing, because I think I've decided. So I hope you guys enjoy, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.